Welcome to our channel Bravo News. Steve McBee Sr. breaks down in tears, sharing emotional message for son Steven. A family under the spotlight. The Missouri farmlands might be quiet and peaceful on the surface, but for the McBee family, stars of the McBee dynasty, life has been anything but simple. From heated boardroom debates over cattle operations to raw confessions about love, loyalty, and legacy, every chapter of their story has unfolded in front of Bravo's cameras. But nothing could have prepared fans for the latest moment of vulnerability. A deeply emotional message from patriarch Steve McBee Sr. to his eldest son, Steven Jr., that has left viewers and even the cast in tears. It wasn't a flashy fight or a shocking betrayal. It wasn't a big deal about finances or a hidden scandal. Instead, it was something far more powerful. A father reminding his son that no matter how heavy the family's burdens become, their bond will always be unbreakable. And in a world where the McBee family has often seemed fractured, competitive, and even divided, the moment felt like a rare glimpse of healing. A message straight from the heart. The cameras were rolling during a late evening on the farm. Steven Jr. had just returned from a long day, his boots caked in mud, his shoulders heavy with the stress of balancing both family expectations and the ever-demanding cattle business. Steve Sr. called him into the kitchen, where the glow of a single farmhouse lamp gave the room a quiet intimacy. "I just want you to know something," Steve Sr. began, his voice uncharacteristically soft. "This farm, this business, all of this is hard. But you and I, we've always had something more important than all that. We've had a lifelong bond. And no matter what happens with the company, with the show, with life, that bond is never going anywhere." For a man known for his strong exterior and no-nonsense approach, the crack in Steve Sr.'s voice hit harder than any dramatic fight. Steven looked at him, stunned into silence. For once, he didn't have to be the businessman, the problem solver, or the reality TV star. He was just a son. And his father was reaching across decades of pressure, pride, and sacrifice to tell him what truly mattered. The moment aired in a recent episode, and Bravo fans lit up social media with their reactions. "I'm bawling my eyes out. We need more of this on reality TV," one viewer tweeted. "Forget the drama, this is why I watch the McBee dynasty," another wrote on Instagram. The McBee name has often been associated with power struggles, rivalries, and the weight of running a multi-million-dollar business. But in that quiet farmhouse kitchen, it was about something far simpler: love. A complicated history. To fully understand the weight of Steve Sr.'s words, one has to look back at the complicated relationship he and Steven have shared. Steven, as the eldest son, has often been seen as the heir apparent to the family business. But with that came incredible pressure to lead, to succeed, and to carry not just the McBee name, but the livelihood of the entire operation. Their bond has never been simple. Episodes have shown heated arguments between them, with Steve Sr. pushing Steven to step up, while Steven has admitted on camera that sometimes he just wants to be seen as more than the business guy. "There are times," Steven confessed in a Season 1 episode, "when I feel like Dad only sees me as the person who has to keep everything running. But I'm his son first. I want him to see that." That tension made Steve Sr.'s emotional confession all the more powerful. It wasn't just a generic fatherly pep talk. It was an acknowledgement of all the years when expectations sometimes overshadowed affection. The family reacts. Behind the scenes, other McBee family members reportedly had emotional reactions of their own. Cole, Steven's younger brother, admitted in a confessional that he had never seen his father so openly vulnerable. "Dad usually doesn't say stuff like that. He shows love by working hard, by providing, by making sure we're set up for the future. But to hear him actually say it out loud, I think Steven needed that more than anyone realizes." Meanwhile, Christy, the matriarch, shared her own perspective. "Steve and Steven have had their battles, but there's always been love. This was a turning point. And I think for Steven, It was a reminder that his dad isn't just his boss or his business partner, he's his dad. Fans see a different side of Steve Sr. For viewers who have long seen Steve Sr. as the tough, stoic leader of the McBee empire, the moment was a revelation. Reddit threads filled with comments like, "This scene broke me. My dad never said anything like that to me. I hope Steven knows how lucky he is." We always see the business side of the McBees. This was pure heart. Forget the cattle drama, this is the storyline I want to follow. Even Bravo insiders admitted that the scene was unexpected. One production source told reporters, "We weren't planning for that moment to happen. It was just real. The cameras caught something authentic, and we knew immediately it had to be part of the season." The burden of legacy. The emotional message also raised deeper questions about the family's future. With Steven carrying so much responsibility, was Steve Sr. finally acknowledging the cost of that burden? Insiders close to the family believe that Steve Sr.'s words were more than just sentiment. They were a sign that he's preparing to eventually hand over more control. Steve Sr. knows he won't be running the show forever. One source explained, "This was his way of telling Steven, I trust you. And even if you make mistakes, our relationship won't break because of it." For Steven, who has often been torn between wanting to lead and wanting to live his own life, the reassurance may have been exactly what he needed. A new chapter for the McBee dynasty. Whether this emotional breakthrough marks a permanent change remains to be seen. Reality TV has a way of highlighting both healing and conflict, often in the same breath. But for now, the message has struck a chord, not just with Steven, but with the family, the fans, and perhaps even with Steve Sr. himself. It wasn't about ratings, it wasn't about drama. It was about the universal truth that at the end of the day, business fades, fame fades, but family bonds, if nurtured, can last a lifetime. As Steve Sr. said, "This is our lifelong bond." Tears, healing, and what comes next. For a show built on drama, this rare moment of softness has become one of the most talked about episodes in the series. Fans are already speculating about whether this signals a new era for the McBee family, one defined not just by power struggles, but by reconciliation. Steven, for his part, hasn't spoken much about the scene publicly, but insiders say he was deeply moved. One family friend said, "Steven has carried so much. To hear his dad say that, it gave him permission to just be his father's son again." And maybe in the end, that's the message audiences needed too. Because beneath the cameras, beneath the contracts, beneath the larger-than-life family drama, is something as timeless as it is simple. A father and son, bound for life. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates.